welcome to RunLeadGen Radio, your go-to podcast for all things digital marketing and growing your business with your hosts, Quinn
and Brian.
In today's episode, we have our first ever guest, Darcy Oliva, and did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. We are so excited to have her. Darcy, why don't you just go ahead and start and give us a little bit of the background of who you are, what you do. Give us a little bit about you.
Sure. So I'm Darcy Oliva with Darcy Oliva Real Estate. I'm known as the dog-friendly realtor, and I've been doing real estate now for 5 years. I'm kind of all over the state, from Brigham City all the way down to Springdale. So
okay,
and then trying to focus more here in Tooele County.
Awesome. Yeah. And you say dog-friendly realtor. Where? Why? What did that? How did that come about?
So I have a big obsession with dogs. I have 3 myself. Don't get 3. It's
awesome.
Too many. It's one too many. But I do love them. And before I became a realtor, I volunteered with the rescue group where I was fostering dogs. I still work with the rescue group, help with charity events throughout the year. And then part of my commission, part of every commission goes towards the rescue group as well.
Oh, that's super awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. Well, welcome to the podcast. In this podcast, we talk about businesses. We talk about growth. We talk about what works, what's not working. We are at the cutting edge of businesses. And so we want to bring business owners, business of all types, and talk to them about what's working for them, what's not working, how's their industry going, and all of the above. So for today, maybe we can just start out and give us a little rundown for the realty world. How's it going? What's working for you? How long have you been in business? Maybe let's start there.
I've been 5 years.
5 years.
I just hit my 5th year in June.
Awesome. And how's it going?
Real estate is a roller coaster.
My goodness.
Yeah. For people buying, selling, but especially for realtors, it is a roller coaster.
And to have started, sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say tied to the rates or
tied to the craziness of the market. So I got my license in 2019, and I have seen about 3 or 4 different markets in that amount of time.
Wow.
So it's been crazy.
Yeah, I would imagine becoming a realtor in general is just a tricky thing, but then to do so pre-COVID, I've heard a lot lately that, the last several years have rivaled the 2008, crash, that it's been really tough.
Yeah. So last year was a pretty tough year because the rates spiked, we all know, and that meant a lot of buyers pulled out and decided not to buy at that time. So it was really tough last year. And I would say most realtors were in the same boat where it was kind of a tougher year. But as soon as 2024 hit, I've had nothing but business all year long. So
oh, good.
I think buyers are finally accepting that life is what it is now.
Well, hallelujah.
Yeah.
So what is the expectation through the rest of the year, for the next year? Are you hoping for good things?
Yeah. So the forecasts are telling us that rates are going to keep steadily coming down. We don't know how low that's going to be, and we're hoping that it's not going to go down super fast. I know people think they want that, but they don't want that, because that means prices are going to skyrocket again like it did in 2020. And we are already so high here in Utah. We don't want that happening again.
Okay.
So the slower rates come down, it is better, because it will make the market not just go insane like we saw in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I'm just not in the realty world very much, but that does make me think, like, what is the perfect scenario? I know a lot of people, I don't know about you guys. I've got family members, brothers and sisters-in-law. I've got friends that are still saying, like, I just can't buy a house. I can't get in. I don't know what to do. Is that true? Or is there a way for people to still get into homes and start building equity? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so absolutely. So that's really a great question for the lending side as well, because they know all the programs that are available. So what you can do, there are loan programs where you can have a down payment assistance. So they can help you get your down payment in, and then things like that. Also, new construction is offering a lot of incentives to get buyers into their homes as well. So the problem is, if you continue to wait, prices are just going to continue to rise. Our forecast, especially here in Utah, is that prices will just continue to go up. There's no going down in sight. And even if a lot of people are saying maybe there's this bubble that's going to burst, even if that happens in the nation, Utah is a lot less likely to be majorly affected by it, because we have such strong growth here. We have the #1 economy in the country. So if it hits everywhere, even, it's not going to impact as severely as people think it is here.
Okay.
And Utah prices are just going to keep rising. So the sooner you get into a home, the better, because you're building that equity. You can refinance when the rates come down, get that down payment down, and then you have that equity to build on.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
What I think we'll do is we'll dive into a little bit of like, how does somebody choose like the realtor? When and how would somebody choose you? And then we can talk a little bit about marketing in general and business growth. So Brian, go ahead and jump into any question you see there or anything else that's come up for you.
Yeah, I guess, and I don't want to skip around
You're
too
totally
many
good.
questions, but so what does it look like to find a buyer, I guess, or a seller? Like, what does that process look like, and how do you go about getting new buyers and sellers to work with?
So every realtor is different. How I work my business is my social media. So I work through that. I also really focus on creating relationships and building relationships, because I don't just want to sell houses. I want to build relationships with people. And so the more friends I make, the more people I get to know, the more business just naturally comes. So that's a really fun side effect of this job, is I get to meet new people and I get to have more relationships, and eventually that ends up working into my business as well.
Can I ask about the social media? What kind of things are you posting?
It's really funny because I'm actually kind of an introvert, and my social media helps me to not be that way. So I am more an extrovert once I get to know people. But my social media, I can be who I am right up front. And so that helps, because when people get to know, like people meet me, I can already be who I am because of my social media, and they know me through that. So most of the time, my social media is reels. I try to be funny in most of mine because I can be a funny person. I use a lot of sarcasm. And so that has really helped me to just bring in more people, because I hear all the time, I see your reels, they're so funny. And that's just kind of helped expand more of my business.
So that actually brings me to a really good question. You know, reels. So, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about social media and reels. And for those of you that are looking at growing your business, reels is a great way to do that. And why is that? We know that in marketing in general, especially in 2024, developing expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, ahead of the game is only going to help you increase your sales. At the end of the day, anybody can go online, they can go find an answer, they can find a service. But when you can create these types of relationships that you're talking about here, Darcy, before somebody has to make a decision, and you start to, branch out your network through your digital marketing, your digital presence, through things like Reels, and we'll talk about other platforms as well. That is genuinely key to growing a business.
Yeah. And what I notice is people are actually reaching out to me. I don't have to go call people. I don't have to go door knock, because people come to me because they've seen me online.
That's right. Yeah.
And so when you say come to you, do you share your phone number, or how do they come to you?
Yeah, you'd only need to click one spot and you will find my phone number. It is everywhere. And so people message me on my phone, DMs, Facebook Messenger, I'm very, very easy to reach.
Yeah, I think we typically say, we've said this a handful of times in the past, anytime a business is looking to grow, you have three major veins, we'll say, or channels. You've got inbound marketing, which is typically what we do. That's your digital presence, that's Facebook ads, that's SEO, that's, organic Facebook and Reels. You have outbound marketing, which is like, cold calls, outreach, you're knocking doors, you're passing out flyers, you're doing emailers. And then you've got strategic business partners or relationships that are providing referrals. These are three channels that help you kind of diversify your business growth. And then inside the inbound marketing alone, how important it is then to create organic content. Mm-hmm. And the reason why Reels have become so valuable, you think about the ways that people can engage with a business in general. If I know, I'm aware, I'm problem aware, I'm going to go to Google, I'm going to go to a search engine and I'm going to go look for my solution. Then you have people that are not product aware or problem aware. And so they aren't looking for the problem or the solution. So you've got awareness plays, which is like organic social. But for the longest time, Facebook especially had no way to discover. You only found who you were already connected with. So Reels and TikTok really brought about a lot of this change, was a way for you to kind of have a For You page. It was a way for you to discover things based off of interests that now allows you to become aware or problem aware from some of the content that creators make. So absolutely a huge key to business growth is getting out organic content.
And it's hard to keep coming up with organic content. And that's kind of where my struggle has been. I've been doing it consistently for years. And so now it's like, I need new ideas.
So let's talk about that. How do you come up with those ideas? And where have you been finding your inspiration?
So I follow other realtors throughout the country. I will never kind of copy or anything like that with a local realtor because I'm not going to do that. But
sure.
I highly doubt that a realtor in Minnesota is going to care if I use a similar thing to what they're doing.
Okay.
Just like I could care less if they're going to use my stuff.
Right.
And so I don't always copy, but I will take what they're doing and kind of be like, okay, how can I turn that into my personality? What can I do there? And so I always will try my best to find trending audio and then do what I think is funny. I'm a person who will just have ideas pop into my head that I think are funny. Whether others think that is funny or not, I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Sure.
I'm just doing what's funny to me, and that's going to relate to the kind of people I want to work with anyway. And so I just get inspiration from others. I will just listen to trending audios, and sometimes ideas will just come to my head and just kind of go from there.
Love it.
But after 2 years of consistency, it gets a little exhausting. So that's my struggle right now, is just continuing that creativity.
Do you have any tools that you use, or is it mostly just kind of organically searching through your own threads? And
yeah, it's mostly just searching.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So I have a question. And I actually don't know if realtors are inhibited by this, but do you have a Google business profile?
I do.
Good. Are you building reviews?
Yeah, but I'm not great with the Google business page. That's one aspect I definitely need some work on. But when I do have clients give me reviews, that's where my reviews go.
Awesome.
Yes.
So something that we want to tell everybody, especially you, we give out free tap to review cards. Okay. In fact, I have one here we could pull up, but essentially you can put it on your person for people that have like reception desks. We have stands for them that they can put on their reception desk, but essentially it says, leave us a review, and it uses NFC technology. So like your hotel key, you tap your phone to it, and it just brings up the Google Business Review without having to go through any other, steps. It's just bada bing. They don't have to take a picture. They don't have to click on a link. It just goes there. And it is the single most valuable thing we can offer for free to help people build their businesses, because as they get more, and we're not talking just like casual, hey, Darcy helped us, it was awesome, but like very specific problems that you solved. If they can get in there and leave, even sometimes videos or pictures that, they had a very specific problem. They could not figure out what they were going to do about interest rates. You got in there, you educated them, you found the right house, and you solved that problem. When they get those kind of details, not only does that help with like Google search when people are searching for specific niched details, but now people see, again, authoritativeness, that trustworthiness. That's legit. You're real. You're good at what you do. They can trust you to do it. So we would definitely recommend, and we'll send you away as you leave today with one of those, because it'll help for sure.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, when it sounds like since it's primarily organic social, do you use any forms of paid advertising?
No, I've done some Facebook ads here and there when I have a listing and I'm trying to get my listing promoted a little more. Facebook, the business side of Facebook, I don't find to be super user-friendly, so I haven't used it too often. I mostly am posting on my personal page, and I'm getting a lot of responses there. So I haven't done too much advertising, paid advertising.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the Facebook business management stuff.
It has become such a nightmare. They have made quite a few changes over the course of the last 5 years, but when they became Meta and they integrated Instagram, it became very just I will say lack of intuitivity, right? It was very difficult for the casual person. So we really had to lean in and start testing and playing on a regular basis, because it was like week over week, they were making so many changes. But I will say, we are proficient. We can help with Facebook ads, and it can be a way, even if you just boost a post, sometimes that can help with your reels to grow, to get what we would call maybe your best bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
To get a little bit additional traffic out of it.
For not just other realtors, but just other people that are self-employed in general, what kind of recommendations would you give? What lessons have you learned that you can help pass along?
You just have to work really hard, and you have to keep going. I've had struggles, and it's not easy. And I think, especially in real estate, I think the latest stat is 87% of realtors do not go past their second year. It's just such a hard business to be in and continue in. So can I be specific to realtors?
Please.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I do not suggest realtors quit their job until they have a steady footing in real estate.
Okay.
I kept my job for 4 years. It was hard. I had to do both full time, and it was really hard, but it kept my bills paid.
Right.
Because it is such a hard job. And like my second and my third year were really great. My fourth year, last year, no. And had I quit before then, I wouldn't have been able to, the money my commissions that I put back into my business. I think that's what people don't understand. The first couple of years, the money you make is going back into your business to help you keep growing. And so if you don't have another job in the meantime, it's really hard to.
Yeah. So that brings me to a question. What successes have you seen? And maybe more generically, like, what does success look like to you? When have you made it? What are you looking for?
I feel like I've made it.
Awesome. We'd love to hear that.
Yes, it's taken time, and it's taken, like I said, the hard work. And I think I feel like I made it when I quit my job last June.
Nice.
A year ago in June, I quit my job, and I finally was doing it full time. But I quit my job, and I only had one deal the rest of the year for 6 months.
Wow.
So it was really, really hard. But I knew I was not going to go back to a job I hated because
Sure.
I love this job so much. So working through that hard of knowing, like, okay, what am I going to do to keep going? How am I going to supplement income while I'm doing this? And all that hard work of the 6 months led me to the best year I've ever had in real estate.
Love it.
And so I think even before my most successful year, I made it because I worked so hard to where I could get to the point where I'm doing it full time and being successful.
And you know what? We hear this often. We were this way, right? We kind of were side gigging it for a long time. We both had, our professional marketing careers that we've been
nothing's wrong
built.
with that.
Right. No. And frankly, we mitigated a lot of risk by doing it that way, right? We didn't have any overhead. We didn't go into any debt. We started out fresh and clean and strong. But until we had one of our clients today, and we'll call him out, Andre, USA Containers.
Great.
He is just a go-getter guy. Mm-hmm. He is just fast moving, get things done kind of guy, and hardworking. And I remember I was talking to him. We were just chatting about business and his growth, and he saw 300% growth in 6 months. Once we started working with him, huge growth, fantastic growth. And he kept saying to me, dude, you got to go all in. You got to just make it your full-time thing. And we had heard it several times, and we've heard it many times since. The minute you put your full attention into it, everything changes. And we'll say also then at that point, getting involved with the right groups, the right networks, the right connections, hiring out the right people, all of a sudden rocks were moved, roadblocks were removed, and we just changed our trajectory. So we would say that as well for anybody out there that's listening. If you are on the precipice of business ownership, or you've got an idea, obviously you want to do so smartly, and we can help you. Let us help you do some market research, figure out, what the demand looks like, what your successes look like, help you forecast and project out some of that. But ultimately, it comes down to just kind of doing it. Mm-hmm. And then we talk about it. I heard it yesterday from Kawasaki, not to be confused with Robert Kiyosaki. But I think his name's Guy, and he talks about grit, growth, and grace. And how you've just got to have that tenacity to just bite down and go through it, that resilience to get through, and then to grow, obviously, and all the things that come with growth mindset, and then to give yourself some grace and let yourself grow and let yourself learn and fail. Okay, Darcy. So that kind of brings me then to the question, like, talk to us a little bit about where maybe you felt like you failed, and like, what's the big tip out there for anybody from Darcy's perspective?
I don't ever feel like I failed because I have given myself a lot of grace. So when I was going through that 6 months of no deals were coming in, I knew that it was still the right path no matter what. And I knew that no matter what, I was going to make it work. So I think it's just a matter of, if it's something you love, you are going to put in the effort and you're going to work hard. And there's no other result, but it will work as long as you do what you have to.
Thank you. Awesome. Brian, any last questions or thoughts that you have?
Well, number one, where can I find the dog realtor so I can watch some of these reels?
Okay, so Darcy Oliva Real Estate. On Instagram, I'm at Realtor Darcy. If you typed in the dog-friendly realtor, I'm sure it'd pop up too. But, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. We'll link it as well in the podcast here and make sure we send people your way. Tell us just something about you, either something quirky, something that people don't know, something to remember you by. Just give us something, Darcy.
I will quote The Office to you daily if you'll let me.
Yes.
Yes. Best show.
We are Office lovers. Yes. Despite my wife, when we were dating, she was not interested. We had to get through like a whole first season before she even gave it a chance. She's now since watched it through probably 20 times. And I kid you not, cries at the end of the last episode every single time. I was worried that Brittany and I were going to have a talk. So,
I know. Well, my son's first birthday was an Office theme.
Oh, very cool.
He dressed like Dwight.
Oh, I love it.
I'm a big Dwight fan.
Yes. Dwight, brings out the, it's not hard to bring out the nerd in me, but he definitely does. So
I do have some Office reels in there too. So
perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you as our first guest. For the rest of you, this is what we're about. We are all about growing businesses, talking about, how and people, growing people. We love to get involved and see how our clients, our friends, our partners are going. If this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and reach out to us. We'd love to have you on. Again, this is RunLeadGen Radio, your go-to podcast for all things digital marketing and business growth. And we'll see you next time. We want to sign out better with our tagline is, we'll help you scale to success.